Dear students, welcome to Mayura Virtual Academy. In this session, we'll be learning about linear layouts. So before we go ahead with learning linear layouts, let us have a quick look at the resource folder structure that is present in the project. The resource folder will be having the many folders in it. One such is the drivable folder. So in our application, if you want to use any images, we'll be putting all those images in the drivable folder and we'll be accessing from here. And all the layout XML files will be present in the layout folder structure. The applications, the launching images, will be putting that in midmap folder, and the values folder will be having many XML files. One such is colors.xml, and if you want to use any different coloring schemes, all the coloring schemes will be mentioning in the colors.xml file with the hexadecimal code and the IDs. Dimensions folder will be having dimensions.xml file where we'll be mentioning about the different the dimensions that we want to use in our applications, and we'll be accessing from here. All the strings in our application, we need to put all the strings that we use in our applications in the strings.xml file, and we'll be accessing using the IDs, that is app name or title or hint or button. And if you want to use custom style, we'll be mentioning that style in the styles.xml, and we'll be accessing the same thing from styles.xml file. The main use of resource folder is, say, whenever we want to internationalize our application, say we develop an application called ABC, and the same application will be launching in the different countries. Say suppose the application user A will be using our application from US, and other user B will be using our application from Portugal. The default language for US is English, whereas for Portugal it is Portuguese. So in order to differentiate that, we'll be using the qualifiers. So we'll be learning in detail what is qualifiers. So for a better understanding, we'll be using the qualifiers, and Android application will differentiate. And say if the user is using our application from US, so it will be taking the resources such as names or the strings or the coloring schemes or the styles from the respective values folders and the midmap folders, drivable folders, and it will be presenting to the users of that particular region. Say for US, it will be displaying in English with the coloring schemes that we have specified in the resource folder. And if we use the qualifier, say values.pr for Portugal, the Android application will take the resources. If the user is using our applications in the Portugal, instead of taking from the default the values from the resource folder, it will be taking the resources from the respective qualifiers. Say for Portugal, if we have used the respective qualifiers, all the resources that is present in that respective resource folder structure, the Android application will be taking the resources from that particular resources and it will be displaying to the user. So the scenario is resolved in the sense for the US it will be displaying in English, whereas in Portugal it will be displaying in Portuguese. So this is the main use of we using the resource folder structure instead of hard coding all the details. Say in the XML file, even we can hard code all the heights, widths and the strings and the coloring schemes. So if you hard code, it would be very difficult to internationalize. So whatever the default things that is present in the layout folder, it will be presented to the user instead of using in the from the respective qualifiers. So for better standard coding practices, it is always advised to put those values in the respective XML files instead of hard coding in the XML files. So now let us look into the activity underscore main XML, and we'll execute how linear layout works, and we'll have a small example on that. So this is the parent, the layout. So here we'll be writing the XML files, and the respective designs we can look at design here. So this is the layout that will be visible to the user. So if our scenario is, so if we want to display all the things horizontally or vertically one below the other, and that can be designed using linear layout. The main the main things that will be present in the linear layout is we need to mention the width and height. So since this is the parent, the layout will be specifying width and height as match parent and match parent, which means that if this application runs in any devices, and this layout will be occupying entire width and height of that particular device. So that is the meaning of match parent and match parent. So other one is wrap content and wrap content. If you use wrap content, if you specify any text or any button, it will be wrapping around that particular views. So that is the meaning of wrap content. And other thing it will be having is orientation. So we need to specify how this layout should be there. Whether all the views that is present inside this layout should be placed one below the other, that is vertical, or one beside the other, that is horizontal. And we can have the many layouts inside one layout. So that is called as nested layouts. So we can have one more linear layout inside this linear layout. And for now, we'll understand different the widgets, basic widgets. One such is text view. For width, we can give it as a match parent, and height, as I told earlier, we can make it as 100 dp. Instead of hard coding here, it is always advised to go into dimensions.xml. We have specified 100 dp and height, so that we can use instead of hard coding here. At dimensions height, and it will be having, we need to give some text for this. 100 so we'll be specifying the text. We'll go to strings.xml. Here we can use the title, that is Mayura Virtual Academy. So come here at string title, you can specify the color, Android text color. So we can specify, we can hard code here, or you can go to colors.xml, text color. So we can create one color, name is title underscore color. So we'll use black, and hexadecimal for the black is 000. So come to mains.xml, we can use that color title color, and we can one more is we can use button. Width, it can have match parent, and height we can use at the dimension of height. And for this we need to give source, we can give background color, Android background color is that color. Can you background which is present here, colors.xml, the background. And one more thing that is there is all the views, these views we can access from the Java file using IDs. So we can mention IDs, Android ID, rate ID. You can use button is the ID for this. And two more things it can take is the padding and margin. Margin is, it will be adding the white spaces to the outer side of the view, and the padding is, it will be adding the white spaces inside the view. So we can differentiate here. So for one we can use Android as padding, red padding. If you use padding, it will be applying to the entire view. We can either have padding top, padding bottom, padding left, and padding right. So the dimension of padding, the dimensions we have mentioned padding as 10 dp, and we can create one more dimension for margin. margin we can give 10 dp. For view we can have Android code layout margin, the dimension of margin. So here we can differentiate how the padding is different from margin. So for this also we can give background color so that it will be easier for us to differentiate. And write background, we can create one color for background. We can use this one only, colorascent @color colorascent. So now let us compile this code and run our application. Click on OK and the text view. And for button we have given, say this is the button, it has click listeners. So for that we have added the padding and it is inner to that view. So it will not be adding any white space outer to this view. So this is not say here the view text view, it has a text called Mayura Virtual Academy and it is getting overlapped with the view. So it is not the better user experience. So for that, for this view also we can use the padding so that it won't be touching to the edges of that view. And for this button, since we have given only the padding and this is getting overlapped with the device screen, even that is not the better user experience. So we can add margin to this button. So for text view, either we can add the padding, try padding, the dimension of padding, or there is one more thing that we can add, that is gravity. So if we use the gravity, so we can just look at the design. Let us refresh it so that see, now you can see that this view, that is Mayura Virtual Academy, since we have added the padding, it is not getting overlapped with the text view. So we can, the other way is, instead of giving padding, you can also give gravity. There are two options, one is layout gravity, other one is gravity. So we'll explain what is gravity and what is layout gravity. So for gravity we can use center. Let us refresh and you can see in the design the entire view will be shifted to the center of the text view. So you can use either center, left, or top, or bottom. So there are four options. You can use this instead of using the padding as well. And one more thing is, that is layout gravity. So if you use layout gravity in the linear layout, entire the layout will be shifted either to the left or right or center, top or bottom, according to the scenarios that we need. And for button we need to add the margin so that it will be provided with the white spaces outside of that button. So on right, that's good. Margin, layout margin we can give and we can refresh it. So here you can see the white space is added outside of this button. So the one more thing that we can add is edit text. So if you want, if you have seen the registration forms where the user can enter all the details, so that is nothing but the edit text. Width we can give it as match parent, height at the dimension of height, we can give margin, Android layout margin as a dimension of margin, we can give padding, right, layout padding, the dimension of padding, and it can take hint what user need to enter. Hint, say enter your name. Now let us compile and look into it. And here is the output. In the next session we'll be learning in detail about it. Thank you. Have a great day.